We're on the tube now.
From the talk to the tube.
I'm cutting that shit out.
You can't. That's bars.
That's bars. You don't have bars.
I'm like the female Eminem.
All right, spit something. You're not saying words. I don't know if you knew that or not. You got anything else?
It's all about the swag. It's not about the words.
All right, let's see your swag then.
She's not here right now.
It's time for a mid-month reading recap. And I've read 4 books. She's read 4 books.
You're keeping up for once. I need you to keep this energy.
I'm like the people that go to the gym for a month right after New Year's, and then February rolls around and they're out.
You said new year, new me for 30 days.
Until March Madness at least, and then I'm out.
That's when more books need to come out.
First up, Dune Messiah. And I will say this book felt like a 0.5.
The first book is so tragically long and dense, anything's gonna feel like a reprieve.
I like Dune 1. Let me start out with that. But this one just felt like a stepping stone. One to get to the next book. If it pays off in book 3, I have no problem with it. But coming off of the high of the end of Dune 1, this felt like a letdown.
The end of Dune 1 is a high? I guess I didn't get there. I'd stopped halfway through.
Dune 1 was Paul Atreides. How you say it?
I don't know why you're asking me.
Dune 1 was Paul Atreides' rise.
Did you just say it fast so that it sounds
just
like you
glaze
said
over
it right? Okay.
You know what I meant. I'm gonna say Paul. Why even put last names in? Who gives a shit? Dune 1 was Paul's rise. Dune 2 was Paul's demise.
Who's that Ryan?
You think you have bars, and I'm the real lyricist.
Okay, drop something.
Roses are red. That's the go-to.
No, that's like using a template and saying you created it from scratch.
Template's hit. Template's hit.
Okay, move on.
Definitely reading book 3, but this one for me was a 3 out of 5.
That math does not math. It's a 3 out of 5. Why are you reading the next one?
It's got just as good a politics as the first one. It's just a different tone. Very emotional. And hold on, while I'm on it, you know the character that Zendaya plays in the movies?
Yes, I know Zendaya.
Her character takes a turn in this book that I did not enjoy. You know how she's this independent, strong-willed individual?
Yeah, she becomes submissive.
She's a little less of that.
Nah, get that shit out of here. I spent the first half of January reading a series that I have no idea why. I'm back in my Twilight era with the vampires. I really like Kieran, even though he's a side character for now. But what I didn't like was a lot. I have serious issues with the male love interest. I've never been one to think that it's cute to not take no for an answer or to make sexually inappropriate jokes when the girl is being completely serious. It's giving red flags. And while I'm intrigued by the world, I felt like I had more questions than answers. It's kind of like when you explain things to me that I know nothing about, my eyes kind of glaze over.
Like what?
Like just pretty much anything you talk about.
Okay, well.
It was like that. And then finally, for reasons that shouldn't be shared on this platform or really any platform for that matter, this book has ruined the fruit honeydew for me.
What are they doing with honeydew?
It's not what they're doing. It's what they're describing is like honeydew.
Okay, I'm gonna guess. I gotta guess. I'm gonna put one in. He thinks she tastes like honeydew.
Okay, moving on.
Next up, Lincoln Highway. And this was my first experience with Amor Tolls, Towels, however the hell.
Towels. That's probably right.
Probably not. Let me start off by saying that I absolutely love his writing. It reminds me of Stephen King. It's quality.
Kind we make Stephen King like Voldemort, like a name that should not be mentioned?
But seriously, he'll make the most mundane things seem so interesting. That's what a good author does.
It's kind of what you do sometimes.
That's what I do all the time.
It's debatable.
But as much as I loved his writing, I can't say the same for this book. It was a little all over the place. I didn't know who to root for. There are multiple protagonists. You feel like the story's going one way and then it goes another way. At first, it's all about Emmett's journey to San Francisco with his brother. And then all of a sudden, it's a bunch of rambunctious teenagers going to collect a trust fund.
How does that connect?
Yeah, you'll see. Overall, though, it was very enjoyable. It felt like taking a road trip at times.
Your favorite.
I like road trips.
You are a terrible road trip companion.
Here's the thing. You're comparing us going on a cross-country road trip to the road trip that they took. It's totally different.
You're acting like you were a nightmare from day one.
We went from Chicago to LA. And not only did we do that, I did that with her. That's a task.
You should consider yourself so lucky. You got to hear all of my karaoke.
Yeah, you're right. I don't have the most patience sometimes, especially on 30-hour road trips. So.
Or ever, really.
Just a small thing that I like from this book, it had reverse chapters. You start out at 10, it ends at 1. Kind of cool. I like unique things.
How does... No.
You don't like it?
No.
Well, teach their own.
No. Eject. Oh, sorry.
Calm down. Hulk.
At least you recognize. The Kingdom of Flesh and Fire lit my flesh on fire, and not in a good way. But the one thing I did like and that I'm stealing is the heartmate concept.
What's that?
You're my heartmate.
Explain that. I don't know what that means.
I just like it more than soulmate. You're my heartmate.
They just call soulmates heartmates? Is that it?
It's like a whole different thing. They're destined for each other, and it's just... I won't get into it.
Sounds like soulmates, but okay, all right, got it. I'll take it.
Don't ruin it. But for the most part, I felt like this was just a filler book. It took the entire book to get from point A to point B, and it's like 600 pages.
It sounds like you. That was my first thought. Over-explained, and it's unnecessary.
I'm gonna leave your ass at point A. Secondly, this was my first experience listening, at least in part, via audiobook, and I think I chose the wrong book.
What do you mean?
It made a conversation that dragged on feel even more impossibly long.
How? You weren't expecting that question, huh? You hadn't thought about that.
I don't know how to explain it, but her actually having the conversation in my ear was like, okay, move on.
You're just not an audiobook fan. Say it.
I'm not an audiobook fan. I'm not afraid of that.
You're a hater.
I am what I am. I've also never been a fan of the whole miscommunication trope, especially when it's blatantly obvious. The amount of inner dialogues of, why is he doing this if he doesn't love me? He can't possibly love me. No, bitch, he loves you.
Wow, that was harsh.
I hate it.
You got heated.
I hate the miscommunication.
I hate the miscommunication.
See, it got me stuttering. And finally, the amount of cringe that I felt when learning about the concept of the joining, which is just a glorified threesome with a best friend.
For what purpose?
Exactly. What was the reason?
Thirdly? Is thirdly a thing?
I was gonna ask the same thing. Is that a word?
I'm avant-garde here.
Tertiarily.
God of the Woods was one that I heard a lot about. It was getting extremely hyped. And when I saw it on my book of the month, I was quick to select it. However, this shit fell flat and I'm disappointed as hell.
I have a thought, but I don't know that I should say it.
What?
It's kind of like when shit doesn't meet your expectations, huh?
What do you say? What do you say? I actually didn't hear it.
Like when stuff doesn't meet your expectations. You have high hopes and then it doesn't deliver.
And that's what I do. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll leave that for off camera. Anyways, my first question is, why is this book almost 500 pages? It could have been 100 pages and I would have gotten the gist. My second question is, why the hell is this so slow?
Why you look at me when you say that?
It's intentional.
Somebody woke up and chose violence today. I'm just saying.
And thirdly,
You really on that thirdly.
this ending was so unsatisfying. I say that as someone who likes open-ended endings. It did not put a bow on the present.
When I read this book, it was like building up to a climax and then fizzed out.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. We'll leave it at that.
This is people's introduction to us.
Yeah, well, this is us.
Hello. Here we are.
I expected a 4 out of 5. Instead, I was given a 2 out of 5.
I know what that's like. The Crown of Gilded Bones is where this series really starts to pick up for me. Shit finally starts happening. We start to get some answers, even if we get more questions. And while a lot of people felt like the middle of this book dragged, I was hooked from beginning to end. But one of my biggest icks from this book is that there's so many vague concepts that never really get clearly defined. We have Ascended versus Vampires versus Craven, and I don't really know what's the difference.
What the hell are you saying? Who are these people?
I wish I could give you answers, but I don't have them. The spice in this book is unparalleled in that it left me wanting to be parallel with the ground because I wanted to die.
It was that serious? You want to be parallel with the ground?
I have to add a disclaimer that I'm not a spice girly, but even if I was, this one would make me cringe. She has an obsession with the C word.
Which one?
If I wanted that much rooster talk, I would go to a farm.
Oh, that one.
JLA had me wanting to be a vegetarian because it was too much poultry.
Oh my God. I was trying to keep a straight face there. I couldn't do it. What is wrong with you?
I'm cooking today with roosters.
You ruined it. You ruined it. And lastly, the Heaven and Earth grocery store. I would like to compare this one to working out. You may not like the process, but you like the end result.
Men do. Women don't. We don't get results.
You don't get results.
No, it takes forever to burn like that much fat.
This book is mostly character work, and it leads to a very, very slow-paced book.
You're really selling me on this book.
But while the character work, oh gosh, should I just change my phrasing or what the hell going on?
Yes, reboot.
I need to restart the computer, update to latest software.
You just a rainbow reel.
I'm trying it one more time, and if this shit don't come out right, I'm moving on.
Okay, it's not going to.
But while the character work wasn't fantastic, yeah, you see how I got that up? There were too many characters. It was overwhelming, and I didn't feel invested in all of them. Less is more sometimes.
More is more sometimes, too.
Good thing I have more.
What'd I just say about rooster talk? Get that shit out of here.
And while it took a while to get there, it has great messaging. Highlights the importance of community, finding common ground with people from different backgrounds from you. It was solid. Had a lot of potential. As is, I will give it a 3 out of 5.
The War of Two Queens had so much potential, but in the end, it let me down in ways I can't explain. It was giving girl power because the two most powerful characters in the book were women, and I am here for that.
Me too. I had no problem with that. Why are you looking at me like I got a problem with it?
I'm just making sure I've taught you right. And much like the third book, I ran through this one from beginning to end because stuff was actually happening. We were finally getting some information. However, I'm in book 4 at this point, and I felt like JLA needed some new material. She's stomping on a dead horse. Poppy asks a lot of questions and nobody's surprised. Poppy likes to stab people. We don't know why. And it turns Kaz on because everything turns Kaz on.
Kaz is a little bit of a horn dog, sound like.
He's too much of a horn dog. And without trying to give too much away, what really ruined this book for me can be described in 2 words: the joining.
What happened?
The joining.
Okay, well, I'm clear on it now. I get it. You explained it well.
For legal purposes, we cannot turn this channel into what it would if I described it.
It's that graphic?
Too graphic.
You got a 5th book? I thought we said we both had 4.
Yeah, math is not my strong suit.
Yeah.
A soul of blood and ash sucked my soul from me.
Whoa. I don't know if you've heard that in other contexts, but I don't think that's something we want to say. Sucked my soul out of me?
See?
No.
You and JLA must be best friends because you're mine in the gutter.
You the one said it.
Moving on. The only good thing from this book is that I used it. I said that. Used it.
You put some emphasis on that you, huh?
I
used it. You. Soulja Boy.
What was I saying? Hold on. Okay. I used this book.
No. Now
I knew you weren't gonna let me move
all I'm
on.
thinking about is Soulja Boy. You gotta hit it now. You.
I used it to fuel my hate fire.
Fire.
Puberty's a bitch. I used it to fuel my hate fire while I was on the stair stepper in the gym. I was just rage flipping pages, just getting my adrenaline pumping.
I could say that I was a witness of that.
It's not pretty.
No.
This entire book was just a recycled From Blood and Ash from Kaz's perspective. And while I do like alternating POVs, 4 books later and 650 pages of it makes no sense. If you're gonna do that, market it as a novella or a 0.5 so that I know to skip it.
We don't do 0.5s around here.
No. JLA has officially grabbed too much of my money, and with this one, I'm out on the series.
So we get to save some money.
No, I just save money for other books.
This concept of you saving is more like redistribution. You take money from somewhere and put it into spending it elsewhere.
No, because see, in my mind, I already spent it, but then I didn't, so I got that money back. You see what I'm saying?
Girl math. Yeah.
The good kind.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed this all over the place video of randomness and hitting the Soulja Boy, please give us a like, give us a comment, tell us what you want to see it from us in the future. Turn on post noties.
That didn't hit.
Post noties?
No.
No, that hit. Any other like YouTube-y things we need to say here? And also subscribe if you guys want to see our videos in your feed in the future.
We got more moves and more bars to drop.
You damn right. We might hit the, what's that dance called?
Pop, lock, and drop it.
No, I'm not hitting the pop, lock, and drop it. Are you kidding me?
It's going down.
Okay, we're done.